today I want to talk about the scripture's theme of men being gardeners. If you're a man, you are made to be a gardener. So I'm sorry for all the times that you've been asked by your wife or your mum or whoever it is to do the weeding and you thought that was sort of a gal's job. They're theologically correct and astute, and you need to go do the gardening. But of course there's a bit more to it than that. You can go again with me to Genesis chapter 1, and we've been seeing there how God has made man in his image, and in the creating of Adam there is examples for us in original design. We can see what God was calling Adam to do, then we can see what we have been called to do as men, even though he lost much of that, even though it has been redeemed in Jesus Christ. We can look all the way back to Genesis and see that there is work to do, that there is examples to take from Adam's first commandments from the Lord. So Genesis chapter 2, I think I said 1 before. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. That verse 15 shows us that after having made man, that is Adam specifically, he made Adam in his own image. And then verse 15 tells us, the Lord God took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to work it and keep it. Now we've looked at this, specifically focusing on what it looks like to work and keep in productivity and all the ways that sort of applies to our life. But today I specifically want to talk about the point of being gardeners or cultivators. It's true that in life everything worth having needs cultivating. It needs long-term effort, being intentional over a long period of time. Whereas things that are not so worth having are easily caught. They're grabbed. They're just snapped up. Whereas when we think of those things really worth having, those things of high value, we think, a wife, a family, children who are honorable and respectful and bring glory to your family, a legacy, wealth, Christian character, the winning of souls into the kingdom of Christ. All of these things take time. They take cultivating, intentional effort over a long period of time rather than simply catching it in a trap. If you think back to the earlier chapter of Genesis chapter 1, we see a large distinction between God's role and our role, or God's act and what is given to Adam to be his act and behavior. We see that back in Genesis 1, verse 1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth just like that. There it is. He said it, it happened. We then get here the forming and the filling and the details of that creation account. He says, let there be light, and there was light. Verse 6, there was let there be an expanse in the midst, and there was. Let there be waters, verse 9, and there was. And so God creates out of nothing instantaneously. This is what we call the doctrine of creation ex nihilo. It really is just Latin for creating out of nothing. Only God does that. Only God can do that. And God stopped doing that after the sixth day when he made Adam. He created, Adam and Eve. He stopped creating out of nothing. He took his Sabbath, and now he works in the closed system of he no longer creates out of absolutely nothing, but works with the world that he has created. But Adam is entirely different. As soon as Adam is put into the ground, he is not given this creation ex nihilo ability to bring things into existence as he wants them. God could do that with a wife, and of course Eve was the only wife, and Adam's going to be the only one of us that ever gets a wife in an instant like that with no effort of our own. Although he lost a rib, I guess that counts. But nonetheless, what was given to Adam was not creation out of nothing. What was given to Adam was the responsibility of cultivating and gardening. So God created the garden in a moment by a word, but then put Adam into it to cultivate and to garden. That's our job. That's how we are like God. He creates, we create, but he creates instantly. We create and cultivate and put in effort over time, and even before the fall, that was the plan. now that the fall has come in, we now see that there is even worse things to have to try and overcome. There's evil, there's enemies, there's all of these things. And yet, we see in the pre-fall creation that Adam was given the job of gardening.